Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live, the place that's committed to not committing malpractice. That's who we are, and we're grateful that you've joined us here. And I've got some people that really care about you and care about you getting the best care, and I care about them. Milan Yerkovich and Dr. Alice Benton are in the studio today, ready to take your phone calls. Hi, guys.
Steve, you were so caring.
Yeah.
I think you used the word care about 12 times there in the first sentence.
I think I did, because we care so much.
We do care. And we care about you too and our listeners and viewers. So, hi, Alice.
Hi, Mylan.
Good to see you.
It's always good to see you.
Thanks.
Now, speaking of care, we've got our intimacy in marriage intensive coming up. And my sheet says, hey, talk about that. Well, all right. So we feared that maybe people wouldn't be open. Maybe they wouldn't get better because of the online experience. But we've found that it works online. And people sometimes are even more open online than they were in person.
Well, I think being online or in a Zoom format or something along those lines, it's kind of a catch-22 because people think, well, I really don't like having to sit in front of a screen all day, but then they think, well, it's cheaper, or I don't have to travel, and now it has benefits. So there's some challenging aspects, and then there's some beneficial aspects. I think as human beings, we all enjoy one another's presence primarily as a means of getting together. But I think you're absolutely right. The number of people that come out of that weekend, or that day, I should say, they're reporting really good movement and changes in their relationship. And it's one of the best 12 hours you could ever invest into something. I think it would just give you a great jump start into really helping to create a shift that's meaningful in your relationship.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Alice.
There are three ingredients that always take place on those weekends, and one is God's presence and His grace, which is not limited to logistics. The other one is the incredible information that you learn being at this weekend. And the third is the safe environment in which you can start to apply and practice it. And you leave with a already built community who will help you continue to apply the information as you go forward.
Yeah, that is really true. And, we love you. We care about you. That's why we've been here for 32 years doing this, exactly what we're doing. And we really want you to get the best help possible. You could be going to a therapist or a counselor and decide, coming once a week, it's going a little slow. You come to us, we're going to give you a booster shot in the area of help and reconciliation, repair, understanding, and then you're right back there with your marriage counselor, but you're a little farther down the road. And that's what I like to see happen. So if you're interested, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, that's the phone number to call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You can find out about Every Man's Battle and our workshop for women who have been hurt by a man with a sexual integrity problem. That one is called Restore, and we will help you in any way we possibly can in the restoration process. But you have to call us first. We'll take a break. We'll come right back for more of New Life Live. Really glad that you're with us. Check out the website. You can download the app on your phone and listen whenever it's convenient to you. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Question about anything you have. 1-800-229-3000. That's the number to join us. And you might, if you're looking at Facebook Live right now, we're live right there. You could call us. We'll take a break and come back after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, October 10th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Dr. Alice Benton, Milan Yerkovich. Let's go to, how about we go and talk right off the bat here with Beth from Boise, Idaho. KBXL is the station. Hi, Beth. How are you today?
Oh, not that good, but I just appreciate having brothers and a sister on the air that I can call and be encouraged and given good words. I have a lot of Milan and Case books. I am a pleaser, and my son died about a year ago, and I'm coming up on a year's anniversary of his death. And previous to that, my husband died 3 or 4 months before that, and then a mother and a brother. And I have always been the person that took care of everybody, and I feel like a dam has broken, and I feel like I'm going to totally lose it. I have never really felt like this before, and I'm just scared that I don't think I have a panic attack, but I've never experienced this heaviness, and I don't know if it's because it's back to back or just what.
Well, I'm glad that you called, because I think a lot of people, especially in tough times, they have this thing of, man, I might lose it, and they're afraid that they might, quote unquote, lose it. So let's talk to you and anybody that's afraid of losing it. Alice, let's start with you. What does a person do to be sure that they don't lose it when they feel like I'm really going into some desperate territory?
Beth, I hear the fear in your voice. I hear the tears in your voice. You have lost too many people in too short a time. And I'm sure that your identity has been changed and so disrupted because you cared for all these people and then you lost them all in close succession. So to not only be dealing with the grief of losing your loved ones, but also trying to figure out who you are now as a pleaser and as a caregiver, my heart aches for you and is heavy for you. This is very complex, layered grief that you are going through. And I want to reframe your pain a little bit, because I think in this shocking amount of pain and grief that you're feeling coming towards the anniversary, God is inviting you into a healing process. He wants to wrap his arms around you, and he wants to catch your tears. That's the kind of God that we have, and that's what he wants to do for you. And I imagine you have been so busy, probably through your whole life, taking care of other people, that it's very foreign for you to ask for help and accept it for yourself. Does that fit for you?
I have done that in the past. When my husband died, January of 2018, I needed to go to the Social Security office, and I went, I can't do this. And I went to my church, and I said, I need somebody to pray for me and to give me a hug. And they did, and it was just like, oh my, a B12 shot, or just encouraged me. And so I have done that in the past. With COVID, there's no grief share. There's no, the counselor that you all recommended for me to see in Boise, it's all online, and it's just so hard that, but I do go, and I just came in this awareness just this past weekend. I just wasn't even aware that I had all of this stuff. And so I put it on the prayer card. I will go to my girlfriends. I share with my husband, and so I know I just have never felt this fear. Tell God what I need. Don't worry about anything. What's that anything? What's that anything?
Yeah. Let me ask Milan to weigh in on this. Milan, your thoughts here for her that might help her.
You know, Beth, I want to rephrase something you said a moment ago. You said you're a pleaser because you've read our books, and may I suggest you're a recovering pleaser? You're not you're not a pleaser anymore, pure, unadulterated, unchecked.
That's correct.
Good. And I tell everybody that. We don't want to stay with those handles describing us. We all want to move towards secure connection. So, but as a former pleaser myself, I know that I didn't know how to identify my own feelings well at all. I was very hypervigilant and attuned to others for the purpose of trying to caretake them so they would smile, so I'd feel better because they were smiling. So I was, it was a manipulative reason why I was caring for people. Now, I also did care for them, but I realized that when I was in pain, I didn't know what to do with that pain. It was foreign to me. I was used to taking care of everybody else's pain. So often, just realizing your role as a caretaker and having others to focus upon has been diminished or drastically lowered. And what happens there is that all of a sudden you're overwhelmed with all these feelings, and it's absolutely frightening. I may say to you, I've been there too. And I just want to encourage you, sometimes it does evoke panic. Sometimes it does evoke massive levels of fear and anxiety. But that's okay, because if I'm with someone or I have others helping me, fear and anxiety comes in waves. It goes up and down, and it's not fatal or final. I want to remind you that Jesus lost it. The night before he died, Jesus lost it. The stress was so immense that the book of Hebrews says there was great loud wailing and tears. There was begging before God to please take this cup from me. Is there another way we can do this? And he was so distressed physiologically that there was sweat that was all commingled with his blood. He had blood and sweat dripping down him. That's how much Jesus lost it the night before he died on the cross. So, you know, learning to become comfortable with emotions is one of the biggest journeys of recovering pleasers, and to allow themselves to feel and to realize all crying eventually stops, all panic will stop, and anxiety will stop if I do several things. One, if I'm with people, and if I'm with people that can carry me through that episode. That's what's really important. So when you say, I don't want to lose it, I'm frightened that I might, I say, look, it's going to be a journey of learning to feel. And I did that 30 years ago. I learned to feel for the first time in my life. And it was a scary journey, but may I say, it was the most wonderful journey I ever took.
Beth, in asking for the hug and the help that you have sought out, I'm proud of you that you did that, and I bet it was difficult to do. I think you have asked for crumbs, and you probably need daily feasts of comfort from other people around you. In my own process of dealing with my anxiety, I needed a group that was available for daily texts, calls, prayers, encouragement, and I needed to learn to be needy and to be okay being needy and spread it out amongst a couple of people that were willing for me to even intentionally schedule a lose it session with them. I'm going nuts and I know I'm going to lose it. Let's set it up so that you'll be there with me and you'll pick me up when I have fallen.
So what did it look like when you lost it?
It looked like snotty, messy tears. It looked like letting myself feel the overwhelming fear, being afraid right there in my fear, but revealing it to the trustworthy people who were willing to sit with me and not minimize it and not get me to quiet down and clean up too quickly, but who would sit with me right in the mess for as long as it took.
And when I was at my worst point, I was curled up in a fetal position, and all Kay did was crawl in bed with me and lay next to me and just be with me right there. I was a mess there too.
Yeah, and you know, there have been some great people that have lost it, and they have received help in the losing. I've talked about Spurgeon when he spoke at this big, huge auditorium. Someone yelled fire, and people died. He was traumatized, and he went to bed for 2 weeks, but in a fetal position, like you were saying, Milan. But his wife comforted him. And one of the things that God has given us is the ability to kind of reach a point where we say, I have to have somebody else. I need somebody else. And I think talking to your husband about it, talking to counselor, talking to that friend, talking about it really helps, I think. And I'm glad you called us, because a lot of folks on the anniversary of a death are really, really troubled by it, especially when it's a child. And I hope and pray that something we've said here has been helpful. I want to send you this little workbook.
Very good.
It's on grief, and I'll send you a Life Recovery Bible with it. And I'm really sorry for what you've been going through.
It's painful.
Yeah. But I'm sure glad that you have a love in your heart for that child that you lost. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, if you need some help, we sure do want to help you. You know, I've said that I think in the Christian community, ungrieved losses is kind of a Christian pandemic that we don't really address very much. And I wish people would see the need to grieve. If you've got this stuff that you're dragging around, you know, maybe, just maybe, you could get rid of it by doing some really tough grief work with a therapist.
In his book, When the Body Says No, Gabor Mate talks about, he's a physician in Canada, and he talks about when we stuff our feelings down in, Steve, the body says, no, I'm not going to tolerate that. So what happens is we can emotionally stuff, deny, suppress all of our feelings, but what happens, it leaks out someplace else. Quite typically in what we call medical diseases or medical, symptoms, and, all the things that, that just the inability to bring myself into relationship and to find relief that way, the body rebels, and oftentimes many of our sicknesses come up as a result of stuffing everything. And the body says, I will react to that. And so it's one of the most profound books I ever read.
Well, I've shared this before many times, probably too much, but, when I was moving to California, I didn't know what I was doing, and I'd lived in Texas all my life, and I had panic attacks. I ended up literally dragging myself down the stairs to the front door, begging somebody to take me to the hospital because I was dying. I didn't know what a panic attack was, and I thought I was dying. My heart was going to stop beating, and they took me to the emergency room, and the physician said, "Here, I'm just going to give you a shot of Valium, and you're going to be fine." I said, "No, I'm already about to die. My heart will quit." And he gives me the shot, and about 5 seconds later, okay, well, I was fine. And it was so embarrassing, but you know what? It helped me realize how anxiety-ridden I was. I was denying it until then. So I have experienced what you're talking about. It's not fun either. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back with more of New Life Live. I would love it if you somehow could join Club New Life here at the end of the year, the last 3 months, and we'll send you these books: Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Amen, Growth Has No Boundaries, Cloud Townsend, Emotional Freedom Workbook, Arterburn and Neal, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, Dr. Stoop, Forgiving What You'll Never Forget, Dr. Stoop, Healing is a Choice by Arterburn, and Take Your Life Back Day by Day, Arterburn and Stoop. All of that given to you as a way of saying thank you for becoming part of the New Life family. 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out how you could do that. We'll be back.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, October 24th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad that you're with us here today. One of the treacherous things about the internet and things online is it's all there for us. And we stop reading. And when we read, we become the manufacturer of the scene and the mystery and the drama, and it's just so wonderful. And if you need a nice little novel, The Encounter is one that you could get. It's based on 2 real stories, and I think a lot of people have enjoyed it. You could ask for that, The Encounter. It's a book that, a novel, and staged in Alaska. So I hope if you like Alaska, maybe you'd like this. Let's go to Bill. He's calling from Detroit, Michigan. We're glad that he is. And Bill, you're on with Milan Yerkovich and Dr. Alice Benton. How are you today, and how could we help?
Hi, how you doing? I got some issues. I'm trying to, I'm a father of 3 daughters, and I have a wife, and I have Mr. Negativity, attached to me, I'm zealous for the Lord. I have a zeal for the Lord, but I have a lot of things hindering me. And from my past, they say I have bipolar, which I think that's a made-up term. But the reason why I think that is because, I have had addiction problems to drugs. And the only reason I had those addiction problems is because in the 80s, my mom and dad signed me up for Ritalin. And I'm afraid to take anything because it screwed me up in the past. And but I don't know where else to go. Like I take care of myself. Like for trying to find safe medications, I want to be good husband to my wife and to my children, but I don't even know where to start half the time.
All right. Well, maybe we can get you started. Milan, where would you suggest that he start?
Well, I always ask the question, what hurts? What is hurting? Why are we asking this question? Because when people hurt, either relationally, emotionally, cognitively, internally, with intrusive thoughts and repetitive cycles of thinking or worry or fear or depression, I always ask, what are the symptoms? What hurts? So if you were to answer that question, what hurts, what would you say? Where is this hurting you?
Yeah, I would say not being able to have enough time with my children, but teaching them the Bible, because I don't know, I don't have any examples. That it didn't come from a biblical foundation, but I don't know where to start to be a godly father or a godly husband. I'm trying, but there's no examples around me. I got a very divisive family, and I just feel like a failure half the time, and you know, I really try, and then it just, you know, I crash down, and I'm starting to think I might have bipolar. I'm not sure. I've heard you talk about it on your radio station, that it isn't a made-up term; it is real. And
well, there's also other things, Bill, that people mislabel bipolar. And just because a person has ups and downs doesn't necessarily mean they have bipolar. Other things can cause that as well. I think the most important thing you could do, Bill, is go to a very experienced doctor. But the first thing I would go to is I would go to an excellent therapist or psychologist, talking through your lifestyle, the things you're doing. It sounds like there's a challenge at times with your acceleration and your zeal. You said, you know, you're on fire for Jesus or something along those lines, and then people over accelerate and then they deflate quickly. And sometimes it's a matter of just how much I choose to regulate my choices. So I would recommend seeing someone and getting professional advice as to whether any kind of a medication could help you. So I just really want to encourage you to start there. I don't think this is a time to start making any recommendations to you, other than getting the right professional care that you need.
Bill, did you quit your substance use cold turkey?
Yeah. Well, after I found the Lord, yeah.
I suspected so. Mm-hmm. And I think that you're also trying to go this alone with God's help, but without the help of a lot of good people who are intimately connected with you, especially good men. And because you had such success quitting your substance use by a decision of your will, I think you're also trying to become a father that you never had by your own effort. And I so admire your heart. Bill, I think the best parents are those who know they're imperfect and they're willing to talk about it, and they're working to become a better father to their children. And I know that that is your heart for your girls. And you're already giving them a better experience, even in your imperfection, than you received from your parents.
Yeah, and it's so touching to hear your tender heart here. You hold on. We want to talk with you a little bit more here. We want to help you. But we need more people like you. And really, I think sometimes God uses that painful experience to make us better than we ever dreamed that we could be as a parent or as a loving friend. And it seems like to me he's really doing some great work in you. And that doesn't mean that you can't have a chemical imbalance or the pathways get messed up. That medication might be able to help, and I think probably it would. I think, well, we'll give you some more insight here. right after this. You're listening to New Life Live.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stu. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Milan Yerkovich and also Dr. Alice Benton. We're talking with Bill, and Bill started out by saying that he felt like bipolar was a made-up word, but, you know, we want to let you know it really isn't a made-up word. And I found when, you know, just like when I found out I had attention deficit disorder in the terminal phase, it was a relief to me that there was something. I wasn't the only one that felt like this. There was a thing, it had symptoms, and it had a treatment. And I'm so glad that I found that treatment, because I don't know what would happen if I hadn't. So I would hope that for you. Anything else that you guys want to say to Bill to encourage him, because, well, he really is, I believe, a man after God's own heart here.
Bill, I don't want you to try to reinvent the wheel for your healing process, because there are so many other people who have walked the path you're on, and they have figured out some of the best ways to do that. And so when you're willing to bring people in to be your guide on the journey, they save you a lot of heartache and a lot of effort that can end in that failure that you talked about, feeling like you're a failure. And I'll tell you personally, I don't want to be on medication. I don't want to have to need it. I want to figure this out on my own. But I deal with an anxiety that oftentimes gets to a level that all my behavioral techniques I know to do and all my prayer and my Bible reading, it just doesn't always take enough of the edge off my anxiety. And so just recently, I got back onto an anti-anxiety and antidepressant medication for my anxiety. And it makes a world of difference for me. I don't want to be on it, but I do better with it than without it.
All right.
Yeah,
well, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, they tried to just prescribe me Vraylar, but it messed with my sleep, and I don't think it sort of manipulated my reality, my brain, because I try to take good care of my brain, and it just didn't seem right. So I don't think that's the medication for me. I was just
Bill, you've had a couple of scares, and I know that makes you very hesitant to try again. But medication, it's described more as an art than a science. And by that, it's very hard for us to know ahead of time which particular medication will work best for which patient. And a lot of people have to go through a couple of different medications before they find the one that's right for them. And that does involve a time process because it takes several weeks, up to even a month or more, to build up a therapeutic level of medication. So please don't give up because a couple of medications didn't work well for you.
No, that's right. And
Yes, ma'am.
and
Thank you.
for people that find the right medication, it often it'll work for a while and then it doesn't for whatever reason work, and you have to find a different one. But there are many, many varieties, and we don't want people on medication if they don't need it, but we also don't want them off medication if they need it. I'm really glad you called. I'm going to send you this, well, it's the Emotional Freedom Workbook, and I think it could be a big help to you. And Take Your Life Back. Let me send those to you, and I hope and pray that you find some relief, some healing, and stay after God's heart like that. And this is just such an example of, you come to Christ, but that doesn't mean all the problems go away. We still all need to be in process, no matter what. Let's go to Mel. Norristown is the town, and it's WFIL is the station. How you doing there, Mel?
Okay, I don't know where to start. I'm bipolar too, and
Okay.
I have a kind of a codependent relationship with my mom. I've always been a people pleaser, stuff like that. But lately, like today, I woke up and I started feeling, I haven't felt this way in a very long time. I just felt really depressed and like I was in my flesh being real selfish or negative, and my mom's real critical of me sometimes, and she just gets in my head. With COVID, I don't have like a routine or anything, and I just switched my therapist. So, because she was just telling me the results of what I was doing, and it was just like freaking me out. So.
How old are you, Mel? Just curious.
I'm 45.
And are you living with your mom?
No, I live by myself.
Okay. But you have a lot of
But I'm
exposure to
trying
her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also, I talked to my pastor, and he's like giving me a recipe of what to do to get out of my flesh or whatever, and I just can't do it. Like,
What does he tell you to do to get? What's he telling you to do to get out of your flesh there?
He said, read Philippians 4-8, based on Philippians, to name 3 people and try to think of positive things about them,
Mm-hmm.
and then visualize Jesus. And I'm not sure. He said it really fast, but I'm just like, I'm not sure, like, if I can do that right now because I'm just so in my head. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like a cloud, like a visual cloud, like in my eyes this morning when I woke up.
Mel,
Wow.
is your
And
mom
it's
one
like-
of the few people you're in close contact with?
Yeah.
Mel, I'm
And my
worried.
recovery group
And go ahead, your recovery group.
at church, it seems like I'm not sure if they know what I'm going through or not because
Yeah.
of the bipolar. Like, they don't understand,
Right.
you
So-
know, and
Maybe they don't.
I'm on medication. Yeah. Like my friend Corey, she says you're in the middle of it and you're just like experiencing the pain and the anger of the depression and stuff. You're not at the beginning, you're in the middle of it. But now I'm starting to get like depressed, like I don't want to get out of bed anymore, but when I lay in bed I don't feel right. Like I'm not doing the right thing.
Mel, I get the sense that very well-intentioned folks are giving you some advice that feels to you like a superficial treatment of some much deeper, heavier wounds and issues that you're going through. And then you get a lot of criticism from your mom. And your life has changed so much during the shutdown that I think your world has become very small, and you do feel misunderstood. And you may not be getting the level of help that your heart truly needs during this time.
Yeah, that's it.
So speaking with your
So what do I
pastor
do? I mean,
and
I'm
being
getting-
part of the recovery group, those are good, and they are important. But I want to make sure that you're getting that deeper level of help that you really need right now.
Yeah, I'm not right now. I'm not. And I don't know if I need to go on Prozac or just forget the Abilify because I'm so depressed right now and change it or what. But I'm like trying to be my own doctor, and I don't know. Like last night I took my Abilify and I just.
Mallory,
I
are
started
you under
waking
the
up
are
again.
you under
It
the
used to
care of
put
a
me to sleep.
psychiatrist, or is your medication being prescribed by a primary care physician?
Psychiatrist.
And when was the last time you saw the psychiatrist and told them what was really going on with you?
Last week. I just told her I'm at my wit's end, and then she tried to put me on Topamax, and that didn't work out. I went manic.
So getting that advice that didn't work out, I hear you're taking matters into your own hands, and that concerns me. I think you need a team leader in your treatment team whom you can trust and rely on. And I'd recommend you go back. Yes, I'd recommend you go back to the psychiatrist to let them know that what was advised didn't seem to work. So without changing your own medication outside of their advice and guidance, go back to them to let them know that it's...
No, I didn't. They took me off the Topamax. I told her.
Okay, I'm glad to hear you're working with her, that you're cooperating with her.
Well, let me just say this. I really believe, Mel, you have to have that psychiatrist that you trust, and you do research with that psychiatrist. You try something. Now, I've had psychiatrists everywhere I've lived. I've had somebody that can help me with the medication. And so we'll find the right medication that works the best. And that's what you need to do. You trust them, and then you communicate, and they change. And if you'll do that, I think eventually you'll find a better medication. Alice, you have some... Yeah, go ahead, Milan.
Just, Mel, I'd so empathize with what you're going through. It's a very painful place. But this is bigger than just a simple diagnosis and a medication. You are wrestling through 45 years of relational distress, emotional distress.
So true. Yeah.
And so when somebody says, well, this is a problem of the flesh and all you have to do is memorize this verse or whatever, that's a little deficient in my words. There's a lot of layers here, as Alice said earlier. Yeah.
More help after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book and showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, October 10th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. We've got Larry Sonnenberg in the studio, but hold on, Larry. We want to finish with Mel. Is there anything else we could do to encourage Mel? I want her to get the right kind of care. I am going to send her this little book here on understanding and loving a person who's bipolar. I think it'll have some good insight for her. Maybe she needs to give it to her mother or the pastor also. But we were talking at the break that we just, that there are certain things that certain people can benefit from when they're memorizing scripture or quoting scripture, but sometimes you just have problems that go beyond that. And I think it's important that we realize that.
Because there's behaviors we're told to follow in the New Testament as well, to bear one another's burdens, to encourage one another, to comfort one another, to pray for one another. If we don't have a group of people with whom we do that, like you were saying earlier, Alice, then we're in the state of isolation and we don't have the community that God, wants us to be in. And then we also have to realize, as I was saying to Mel, she has been in a family system that has been unhealthy for 45 years. Yeah. And we have to process our way out of that. We have to be able to grieve. We have to be able to talk about it. We have to be able to identify the factors and issues that were the toxic and that were unhealthy. We also have to be able to find the good things in that home that were the good parts, and then be able to put off and put away the things we didn't find helpful, and then find a new family that can help us mature. And so we need other believers that can help lift us up and elevate us into a new level. And that's not easy to find, but we have to search for that, and we have to find a group like that that can give us that kind of support.
Mm-hmm.
I want to encourage Mel too, because Mel, I think you are in transition, and I encourage you to persevere through it. You are probably in a season of sowing. And if you continue consistently with that, of engaging with other trustworthy people and telling your story and working to be understood and to understand the people around you, it will move into a transition to a season of harvest. Mm-hmm. So stick with the process.
Amen. Well, Larry Sonnenberg, you are in the studio. What do you have for us today?
Steve, real quick, it's Tuesday. Saturday is every man's battle. So I want to just share another testimony and encourage folks, if you could believe in what you hear happening through what we read and share, please support us. This gentleman says, I attended every man's battle not knowing what to expect, came here with hurt, pain, uncertainty, and worst of all, a whole lot of hatred and anger. What I have received from this workshop is hopeful and positive vision for the future and my relationship with God and my wife. I've been given an opportunity to see that I can be healed, which in turn helps me to show my growth through my actions and not just my words. And he closes with saying, I know I have a group of men who will pray for me and my situation. Folks, we just want to take people who are full of anger and hatred and turn them into somebody who's hopeful and a positive vision for what's moving forward, because they've been connected with Christ again.
Well, a lot of times a guy may think, I can't go there because there are other Christian men there, and they'll judge me because I'm so angry and all. But hey, everybody's got it, so don't worry about it. Just come, let us help you. We'll give you the best help ever. at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and then all the support that you give us. It just helps us reach more people and provide the kind of experience that transforms a life. So if you can help us, please do. We need your help at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Anything else, Larry, you want to add?
No, just thank you to everybody who's given.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Larry. Okay, well, Jean's our final caller here. We don't have a lot of time, but I did want to go to Jean's phone call. Jean, how are you today? How could we help you?
I'm good, thank you. Let me see where I can start. I know you don't have a lot of time. I've had 5 children of my own, and 2 of them have alcoholic issues.
Yeah.
But my son, who has 2 children, but the problem is with the older one that's 18. He just lost his dad a year ago, and they were very close. And I think that's a little bit of the issue with the drinking and smoking cigarettes. And so anyway, we were on a family cookout with just the immediate family, and he just was obnoxious. He was like swearing a little and thinking he was funny and saying things, and she was so embarrassed. And I just don't know he does not communicate at all. He's extremely hard to sit and talk to. He just thinks he can do everything on his own. He doesn't need my help at all. So, but I feel as though if he doesn't talk to her and apologize or something, I don't know how this is ever going to come back, you know. And since my husband passed, my granddaughter has really not talked to me much at all. I mean, she will, but she doesn't go out of her way. And I don't see her much like I used to.
Well,
so
is
I don't
this,
know where my place is. Like,
okay, so but is this the kind of thing where you might say to him, I watched that happen, and I really believe that you hurt her because of your drinking, and maybe it's time that you take a look at that drinking.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try to say anything to him. He just seems to, like, head towards the door when I try to talk, almost like he's first, like, are you done? And I know he loves me, too. He's a great person. He just has a lot of anxiety. But I've got to get him to sit and listen to me somehow. And maybe that's a good idea to say, I've watched it. He needs to know I've seen it. I did approach him at one time. I said, I don't think you remember what you've done, and you owe people an apology. And
I bet he was excited to hear that, huh?
No, not at all. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
So
Milan or Alice, any insight here before we have to go?
Gene, if he has a lot of anxiety, he may be drinking to help curb the anxiety. And I would maybe start with a discussion.
Sure.
I would maybe start with a discussion about, well, son, how anxious are you, and how prevailing is this emotion, and how debilitating is it? And have you ever thought of the role of alcohol to make that decline? But then there's this catch-22. You may feel less anxious, but you're also hurting people with the things you say. So what do we do about this problem? I'm concerned about your anxiety. I'm also concerned with what your alcohol is doing to other people.
Jean,
that's what I have to do.
You might also point out to the fact that the whole family is struggling. He's not the only one, and that you also have your struggles that you're dealing with, and everybody's missing your husband, and his death has affected all of you. So you might invite your son to attend a group with you, a speakers meeting with you, or even offer to bring him to one of our our online New Life weekends, because your whole family is hurting and needs help. And if you make it more inclusive like that, it might be more digestible to him.
That's a great idea, Alice.
And then just a caution to you, this isn't the time to say, that's going to hurt me too much to do it or whatever. But it really is the time to step out and be willing to be rejected again, but to say, here's what I'm thinking. If you're not thinking that the drinking here is impacting this relationship with your 18-year-old, it is, and it's time that you take a look at it. Well, I'll send you a Life Recovery Bible and a workbook, and I'll send you How We Love also. You can see how this relationship's playing out. Thanks. If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Call us. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.